How's it going, guys? We are back. It's day 12 of 100. I'm pretty excited. And yeah, last night we kicked off things with the basics of JavaScript. We got about, I would say, halfway through the basics. There's a ton that is being covered. It's quite insane. I mean, if you compare it to the HTML and CSS stuff, it's just crazy. I'd like to take a guess. It's like probably 60 or so different parts of just the basics. And I mean, that's just the basics. Imagine the intermediate stuff and whatever else. Wow, let me just set this up real quick. Okay, that should be it. Cool, we're all set. So the continuation, I left off specifically here because I wanted to make sure that I had a fresh start and knew exactly what was going on, because global scopes and functions are something that I feel is going to be very important down the line, because most of the time my stuff is global, the variables and that, and apparently you don't want to pollute stuff and all that, so you want to stick things global where you can. So hopefully this will cover that and we'll have a better understanding going forward. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So let's see where that takes us. In JavaScript, scope refers to the visibility of variables. Variables which are defined outside of a function have global scopes. This means they can be seen everywhere in your JavaScript code. Variables which are used without the var keyword are automatically created in the global scope. This can create unintended consequences elsewhere in your code, or when running a function again. You should always declare your variables with var. So if you just said like my dog equal to 5, it would automatically create it. Using var declares a global variable, my global, outside of any function. Okay, we need to declare. Initialize it with a value of 10. Okay, so declare your global variable var my global and set it to 10. Cool. And then inside function fun1, assign 5 to oops global. Function fun2, so if type of my global is undefined, output my global, and then Interesting. Huh, that's interesting. So console.log, I want to do a test and do well, let's rather assign it here. You're not gonna log that for me? Oh, because I have to do I see what happened there. If it's not equal to undefined, output plus equal to test plus test. It doesn't want to output. Assignment to undeclared variable. Yeah, that was the point. You guys are showing me how that works and I can't even do the test myself. I wanted to test it, but it won't let me. I'm going to just assume that's how that works. What if I said var oops global? Okay. Interesting. Okay. Local scope and functions. Variables which are declared within a function as well as the function parameters have local scope. That means they are only visible within that function. Here's a function myTest with the local variable lock. Function myTest variable lock equal to foo, console.log lock. MyTest logs foo, whereas console.log lock is not defined. Lock is not defined outside of the function, which is a good thing. Declare a local variable myvar inside my local scope. Okay, and just anything. Should we do like baz? Run the test, then follow the instructions commented out in the editor. You shouldn't need to edit this line. No. myvar baz console.log myvar, my local scope. Oh, we have to define the variable. Cool. Whereas console.log myvar should be... It doesn't say undefined though. It would be, but anyway, I need to just remove the console log line to pass the test. That's all we should need. It is possible to have both local and global variables with the same name. Oh, let's not do that though. When you do this, the local variables take precedence over the global variable. Interesting, okay. That's where you can have an issue, right? SumVar is hacked. Inside function myFun, we have SumVar again, we turn it into head, return SumVar. The function myFun will return head because the local version of the variable is present. Add a local variable to myOutfit function to override the value of outerwear with sweater. Outerwear needs to be sweater. That should be all. Console is not outputting anything. Oh, but we didn't console.log anything, did we? Does this work? I just want to see, because console never seems to work for me. Oh, it does. Hey. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Run your tests. Return a value from a function with return. We can pass values into a function with arguments. You can use a return statement to send a value back out of a function. Example, function +3, which takes a number as a argument. Return number +3. Okay. Oh, Fex, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Hope you're well. How many hours per day you're doing it? It really all depends, eh? It depends on how my day is, if I have anything else that I need to do and get done. But on average, anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours. I guess an average of 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, the other day I streamed for 9 hours, so it really just depends. I'd like to do as much as I can, but then obviously there's things that I gotta get done as well. And what about yourself? You also busy? You working on stuff? +3 takes an argument for number and returns a value equal to number +3. Right. Create a function times 5. Okay, function times 5 that accepts one argument. Multiplies it by 5, so number... Oh, and we need to return it. So return number times 5. And I think that should be it. There we are. Perfect, you say you're learning Node.js right now. Okay, that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to get into that. A nice, easy way to interface with the database using JavaScript, so you can kind of have JavaScript as front and back end. Or client side and server side, rather, sorry. Definitely want to look into that. And also NoSQL databases, and in general, just not using those types will be interesting. I think it was MongoDB that I looked at. There was a driver for a SQL database. There's a lot that I want to look at eventually, and look at and weigh in the pros and cons and all that. Understanding undefined value related from a function. A function can include the return statement, but it does not have to. In the case that the function doesn't have a return statement, when you call it, the function processes the inner code, but the returned value is undefined. And I'm not used to that, because a lot of the functions that I've built, at least for the mods, don't return a value. So I've got to pay attention here. So example, sum 0. Function adds some number, sum equal to sum plus number. Return value equal to add sum 3. Sum will be modified, but there's no return. But returned value is undefined, yeah, because there's no return. Well, that's a bit silly if you're going to design something like that, because then how do you get the output back? Add sum is a function without a return statement. The function will change the global sum variable, but the return value of the function is undefined. Am I a CS student? What is your purpose of coding JavaScript? No, I'm not. I would like to. I would like to get an MSc one day. That's kind of my dream, my goal, I guess. I'd also like to get into MIT. That's another dream. But this is mainly, I guess, to further myself. In 2015, I left the IT sector after being a professional IT expert for roughly 5 years, and I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. I guess I always like to find challenges in things and overcome them, and I just felt that at the level that I was and the things that I was doing, it wasn't for me. You know, it's a great skill to have, and it helps you out, it helps your friends and family out, but it didn't really drive me or motivate me. Whereas coding, it's just like you have the ability to like create something from nothing and actually like help people, you know, depending on what you want to do. There's just so much you can do. There's so many solutions that you can bring to solve actual real world issues, and that really excited me. That, and also the fact that I've always loved game development, and obviously being a gamer for, you know, the majority of my life, I decided at some point I would love to get into game development. And the whole reason why I started coding actually was I was modding Skyrim, so a Bethesda game, and there were parts I didn't understand or just didn't work. And I took it upon myself to actually like figure out what was going on, see if I could, you know, solve the problem. And eventually I did, after months of like figuring out how Papyrus works, Skyrim's proprietary scripting engine. And that kind of forced me into this whole like journey of 2 years of just figuring out how it works, not really having references, because I mean there's a wiki for it, but yeah, you know, people are lucky when they have JavaScript and and C# and Java and all those languages, because it's so heavily documented. You have tutorials, you have videos, you have text, you have literally anything that you could want. But Papyrus, like, Google it. Papyrus like has its wiki and that's it, and most of the people like learn through trial and error. So literally I spent 2 years banging my head against my keyboard because who do you turn to if you need help? And there's like maybe like a handful of people that actually know what they're doing, and most of the time they don't really have the time to help you out. So that's what I did for 2 years, and it got me into the mindset, like, you know, the logical mindset of figuring out how code works. And luckily it was an object-oriented programming language, and I just felt that will, you know, benefit me. And long story short, in 2015 I also took up several courses that I never actually got around to, including Free Code Camp. And I guess now I'm finally getting my life back on track and, you know, going after the things that I set out to do, I guess. And wait, how old are you? I thought you're 18 or 19. I'm 26, gonna be 27 at the end of this year. I know that my childish persona can come through at times. I get really excited when it comes to coding and just figuring things out. It fascinates me. But yeah, unfortunately the big city is around the corner and I need to do something. I do not want to go back into the IT sector. And I mean, given the time that I've taken out of it now, geez, I would have to like take major refreshers because things change all the time. I mean, the skills that I know now would be hardly relevant, you know? So that's another thing. I think it's too late for MIT. I don't think it's too late for anything ever in life. I think where there's a will, there's a way. And I will make that happen. It's small steps. This is one of many. I know this isn't like the major way. I still plan to further myself, go to university, get my MSc, but this is like a precursor to that. It's gonna give me the skills I need. It's gonna give me the basics at the very least. Maybe a bit more. Maybe the projects that I build will help as well. And then, you know, on top of that, going to university will be pretty much far better than just going straight up and not knowing anything. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But onwards! What do we need to do? Create a function, add 5 without any arguments. Okay. Interesting. This function adds 5 to the sum variable. Sum plus equal to 5. Run the tests. Assignment with a returned value. If you recall from our discussions of storing values with the assignment operator, everything to the right of the equal sign is resolved before the value is assigned. This means we could take the return value of a function and assign it to a variable. Assume we have predefined function sum, which adds 2 numbers together. Then our sum equal to sum, which is calling a function in a function, or no, assigning a variable with a function, will call sum function, which returns a value of 17 and assigns it to our sum. Yep. Is that all? Okay, I thought it was going to be a bit more advanced than that, like call a function in a function to define another function's value and then use that. Call the process argument function with an argument of 7 and assign its return value to the variable process. So, wait, is processed already defined? Yes, it is. Okay, so processed equal to process arg 7, argument of 7. And that should be it. Cool. I quit my CS degree and went to a coding boot camp. I'm younger than you in about 2 years. In about 2 years you'll be younger than me, or you're 2 years younger than me? Are you from the future? Are you like going to go into a cryogenic chamber and just wait so you can catch up so that in 2 years you'll be younger than me? Why did you quit your degree, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, like, if you have the ability to, why not do it? Like, I would love to. If I had the ability right now and I could go to university and get a CS degree, like, I would do that. Way more. It's just given, you know, circumstances right now, this is what I have, so... Did mana does code minus equal to effects? Oh, that's a good one. So you went to a coding bootcamp. Is that done? How do you feel? Do you think you made the right decision? Do you regret it? Are you still currently doing it? How's that going for you? I just wanted to be a web dev. It's not that bad knowing all the skills though. You never know, you know, when you can use it. I'm always going to be the advocate for you can never go wrong when it comes to knowledge. The more knowledge you have, doesn't matter what it is, the more helpful it will help you in whatever way. Because you never know when you're going to need that bit of knowledge, you know what I mean? You work as a front-end dev. Okay, so kind of paid off for you? Are you happy with that? Any plans? Stand in line. In computer science, a queue is an abstract data structure where items are kept in order. New items can be added at the back of the queue, isn't that arrays? And old items are taken off from the front of the queue. Okay, this is something different now. Write a function next in line. Oh, it's already defined for us. Which takes an array and a number. Okay, why specify if you already wrote it for us? Add the number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array. So we can use pop and push, I'm assuming, because it's just arrays, right? So add the number. So, how does that work? To which array? What array are we dealing with? Oh, array is the array. So, array dot push item, I guess. Add the number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array. Then we need to do, what was it? It was shift. Pop is at the end, push is at the end, pop and push are for the end. Shift and unshift are for the beginning. Unshift add, so we need shift. So array dot shift. I don't think you need to, I think it's like that. I may be like really wrong. You can store the value of shift, but we don't need to, we just need to remove it. The next inline function should then return the element. Okay, then we will. So return array.shift. That will give us the removed element that we removed from the array. Wait, what? Change this line. Oh, okay, well then we're just gonna stick that there. That should be it? No? Like, not even right at all. All of them failed. Hold on. Next in line should return a number. E. What do you say, OFX? I'm learning in an open uni for a BA degree in CS. Okay, so you're still gonna end up going back and doing that. I will finish it in a 31... I'll finish it at 31, 32 years old. Is it bad? What do you think? No. Honestly, I know a lot of developers that have literally just started in their 30s. I know especially Free Code Camp wrote a really interesting article on it that had people starting in their 30s and they found success. So I don't think it's ever too late. I think this is something that comes with time, knowledge and experience, and I don't think it's something as, you know, you'll require the finesse or whatever. I mean, it's pure brain power. The more you know, the better you'll do, the quicker you'll be, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's bad at all. Now let's try to figure out what I did wrong here. I know it's push. You take the array. Oh, is it because I said item like this instead of like that? No, here you go. Here's our console. After. So push was fine. We were supposed to be doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the requirements? Takes an array and a number. Item is up. Add the number to the end of the array. So we did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to remove 1. Ofex, I need to do some node stuff. Have a great weekend. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And I hope you have an incredible weekend well. And good luck with your node stuff. I really hope it goes well. And I look forward to hearing how things go for you and your journey and whatnot. And thanks for always dropping by. I appreciate it. You must have an incredible one. So we correctly pushed it. Then why can't we return array.shift? Unless I'm calling shift wrong. Let me just double check. Because I'm positive it's shift. Oh, you actually have to, you need that. I get so confused with that, because sometimes you don't need it. Like with length, you just go dot length. You don't need the parentheses. I need to figure out why. Because that trips me up. Because that works now. See? Why can you say dot length like that, and you don't need that, and that breaks it, but for shift, you can't do array.shift, you need array.shift with the parentheses. That confuses me. Because if shift is a method, then what is length? Let's figure that out. Because shift is a method, what is length? It's a property. Is that why? Properties you don't need to add, but length methods you do. I'm going to take that as the logical answer. So that should pass. Brilliant. Understanding Boolean values. Another data type is a Boolean. Love Booleans because they're either true or false. Very simple. They are basically little on-off switches where true is on, or 1, and false is off, 0. These two states are mutually exclusive. Boolean values are never written with quotes. The strings true and false are not Boolean and have no meaning, no special meaning in JavaScript. Modify the welcome to Booleans function so that it returns true instead of false when the run button is clicked. There you go. Use conditional logic with if statements. If statements are used to make decisions in code. The keyword if tells JavaScript to execute the code in the curly braces under certain conditions defined in the parentheses. These conditions are known as Boolean conditions, and they may only be true or false. When the condition evaluates to true, the program executes the statements inside the curly braces. When the Boolean condition evaluates to false, the statement inside the curly braces will not execute. Function test my condition. If my condition, as in if it's true, return it was true, else return it was false. Test true, returns it was true. Test false, returns it was false. When test is called with a value of true, the if statement evaluates my condition to see if it's true or not. Since it is true, the function returns it was true. When we call test with value of false, my condition is not true, and the statement in the curly braces is not executed, and the function returns it was false. What do you want us to do? Create an if statement inside the function to return yes, that was true, if the parameter was that true is true, and return no, that was false otherwise. So if was that true, return else no, that was false. So and we're just going to add a return. And that should work. Comparison with the equality operator. Are things equal? That's the question. There are many comparison operators in JavaScript. All of these operators return a Boolean true or false value. The most basic operator is the equality operator. The equality operator compares two values and returns true if they're equivalent or false if they are not. Note that equality is different from assignment, which assigns the value at the right of the operator to the variable on the left. Function equality test, which takes in a value. If my value is equal to 10, or what would we say? It's not equal to 10. Well, you could say equal to 10, right? If it's equal, yeah, because it's equality. Return equal, else not equal. If my value is equal to 10, yeah, so we've done that. In order for JavaScript to compare two different data types, for example numbers and strings, it must convert one type to another. This is known as type coercion. Once it does, however, it can compare terms as follows. So 1 is equal to 1 is true, 1 equal to 2 is not, 1 equal to 1, but as a string, is true. 3 equal to 3 is true. Interesting. So does it turn a string into a number when it does the typing? Add the equality operator to the indicated line so that the function will return equal when val is equivalent to 12. If val is equal to 12. There we go. Comparison with the strict equality operator. So the three of them. So it's equality versus strict equality. It's like a totalitarian government for your code. You must comply. Strict equality. So why would you ever not use strict equality, like by default? I know it's quicker to write the 2 instead of the 3. But doesn't it make more sense that you always use strict equality? Strict equality is the counterpart to the equality operator. However, unlike the equality operator, which attempts to convert both values being compared to a common type, the strict equality operator does not perform a type conversion, which is kind of a good thing if you want, you know, like actual accuracy. If the values being compared have different types, they are considered unequal, and the strict equality operator will return false. Well, that's a good thing, because 3 is not equal to 3 in quotes. In the second example, 3 is a number and 3 is a string. Use the strict equality operator in the if statement, so the function will return equal when val is strictly equal to 7. There you are. Practice comparing different values. In the last two challenges, we learned about the equality operator and the strict equality operator. Let's do a quick review and practice these operators some more. If the values being compared are not of the same type, the equality operator will perform a perform a type conversion and then evaluate the values. However, the strict equality operator will compare both the data type and the value as is, without converting one type to the other. Examples: 3 equal to 3 returns true because JavaScript performs type conversion from string to number, whereas 3 strictly equal to 3 returns false because the types are different and type conversion is not performed. Note that in JavaScript you can determine the type of a variable or a value with the type of operator as follows. Type of 3 returns number, type of 3 returns string. Really? I had no idea. Console's lagging a bit because of the background processing that this is doing. Jeez, this is like everything we've ever had in one. Type of 3, there you go. Type of string. Oh, that was silly. Huh. Type of 3 is a number, type of string is a string. So that's how you can check what it is. So what if I go type of 1 is an object. Ah, so a variable is considered objects. What if I do 1, 2, but then name, number. Bob and 2. Number is not defined. Why is it not complaining about name? Oopsie. How about that? Object. Okay, so it's still classified as an object. What about type of true? Boolean. Ah, what else do we know? Type of 1.5 is a number that doesn't know about floats or integers. It's just a number. A number is a number. Type of number is a function, so it knows about functions. Interesting. What is type of console.log? Undefined. What about 1 divided by 0? Not a number. Type of? Let's break it. I can't like hit enter. Whatever. Cool. That's good to know. The compare equality function in the editor compares two values using the equality operator. Modify the function so that it returns equal only when the values are strictly equal. Okay, there you are. Nice and easy. Comparison with the inequality operator. Okay, this is new now. The inequality operator, not equal to, is the opposite of the equality operator. It means not equal and returns false, where equality would return true, and vice versa. Like the equality operator, The inequality operator will convert data types or values while comparing. Examples: 1 not equal to 2 is true. 1 not equal to 1 is false, because it does data conversion, or type conversion. One not equal to 1 is false, again. 1 not equal to true is false, because true is 1. 0 not equal to false is false. Add the inequality operator not equal to in the if statement so that the function will return not equal when val is not equivalent to 99. So if it's not equal to 99. There we are. 99 Luftballons. Comparison with the strict inequality operator. The strict inequality operator, not equal to strictly, is the logical opposite of the strict equality operator. It means strictly not equal, and returns false, where strict equality would return true and vice versa. Strict inequality will not convert data types, so exactly the same as strict equality. Add the strict inequality operator to the if statement, so that function will return not equal when val is not strictly equal to 17. Comparison with the greater than operator. The greater than operator compares the values of two numbers. If the number to the left is greater than the number to the right, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. All the single ladies? All the single ladies. To the right. Like the equality operator, greater than operator will convert data types or values while comparing. 5 greater than 3 is true, 7 greater than 3 is true, 2 greater than 3 is false, 1 greater than 9 is false. Cool. Add a greater than operator to the indicated line so that the return statements make sense. Greater than 100, over 10. I can't wait to get the short forms. What was it called when you do that and this? I can't remember it right now exactly, but that's going to be fun. Ternary, am I saying that right? Equation, that is going to be fun. I think that might be coming soon, or maybe it's not part of the basics because it's not that basic, because even I couldn't figure it out in the beginning. The greater than or equal to operator, greater than equal to, compares the values of two numbers. If the number to the left is greater than or equal to the number to the right, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Like the equality operator, greater than or equal to operator will convert data types while comparing. So 6 greater than equal to 6 is true because it is equal to 6. It's not greater than 6, it's greater than equal to, and that matches. Add a greater than or equal to operator to the indicated line so that the return statements make sense. If 20 or over, greater than equal to 20. 10 or over, greater than equal to 10. So it always looks like a sad smiley face to me when I type it out like that. And look at that one. That's a happy one. There we are. Comparison with the less than operator. The exact same. Add the less than operator to the indicated lines. Okay, so if value is less than 25, less than 55, and there we are. Less than equal to next, right? Exact same one as the greater than equal to. Less than or equal to 12, less than or equal to 24. There we are. Comparisons with the logical AND operator. Sometimes you'll need to test more than one thing at a time. I guess we could do nested ifs for that, but that's what the AND operator is for, right? The logical AND operator returns true if and only if the operands to the left and right of it are true. So you can't have multiple AND operators, can you? The same effect could be achieved by nesting an if statement inside another. Yeah, that's what I said. But it's quicker to do it in a single one. will only return yes if the number is greater than 5 and less than 10. The same logic can be written as if num greater than 5 and num less than 10. Okay. Combine the two if statements into one statement which will return yes if value is less than or equal to 50 and greater than or equal to 25. Otherwise, we'll return no. If value greater than, what did you say? Greater than, less than, or equal to 50 and greater than or equal to 25. We will return yes. Else return no. There we are. Wait, hold on. We have a mistake. Oh, I need val. I keep doing that because of the other language I'm used to. You don't need to specify because it takes it as one. Wait, can I do it this way? Can I do val so it's like all part of one? Can I do it like this? And I only need to define it once. Because then for multiplication you do it for each one, but does it work for variables the same? Then I only specify val once and then will that work? No. Maybe not in this example at least. But for it to work I need to specify val twice. Val less than equal to 50 and val greater than equal to 25. That should be it. Oh, I have an extra thing over there. Cool! Comparisons with the logical OR operator. The logical OR operator returns true if either of the operands is true. Otherwise it returns false, so one or the other. The logical OR operator is composed of two pipe symbols. This can typically be found between your backspace and enter keys. The pattern below should look familiar from prior waypoints. Yep. The same logic can be written as oh, that's cool. Combine the two if statements. If val is not between 10 and 20. So it must be is not between 10 and 20. So less than 10 or greater than 20. We're going to return outside. Else you're staying inside. Introducing else statements. When a condition for an if statement is true, the block of code following it is executed. What about when that condition is false? Normally, nothing would happen. With an else statement, an alternate block of code can be executed. So if number is greater than 10, return bigger than 10, else return 10 or less. Combine the if statements into a single if-else statement. So we can just say else. Result equal to 5 or smaller. There we are. Introducing else if statements. If you have multiple conditions that need to be addressed, you can chain if statements together with else if statements. If number is greater than 15, bigger than 15. Else if number is less than 5, return smaller than 5. Else, return between 5 and 15. Convert the logic to use else if statements. If number is greater than 10, else If value is less than 5, return smaller than 5. Else, return between 5 and 10. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Whoops. There you go. V1 Rani. So you have lions and elephants on the streets? You know, if I look out my window right now and open this up. Yeah, okay. This is not good. This is not good at all. Wow. This isn't good. Oh dear, I think he spotted me. I think he spotted me. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Okay, we need to be very quiet now. I think he's getting closer. I think he heard us. God, the bird is giving us away. Oh man. I think he's going off now. Oh no. He's getting closer. I think the bird is swearing at him. Told him something about his mother. Okay. I think we're good now. That was a close call. Wow. How's it going, Virani? Let my bear handle it with the vodka comment? Ah, Gavarish Paruski. Привет. Just tuning in, what the fuck is happening? Well, you see, Christopher, as Virani here asked if, you know, we have lions, and I just had to make sure and check quickly, and yeah, there was a lion camping outside my place. It almost didn't end well for us, I almost lost the stream, but we're good now, everything's fine. How do I know Russian? Let's just say that I have a bit of Slavic in me. And much love and respect for the Russian culture. And it's always fascinated me. And your pronunciation is good. I would hope that it is. I really would. Давай, давай. Я пьем повичу vodka. I actually have vodka on my table right here. Stanislav. Though my favorite here in South Africa is Stolichnaya, which is actually based off of my surname. I think my legacy created it at some point. It's like, I love vodka, so let's make one. Ich kann auch Deutsch sprechen. Ja, das gut. Don't forget the Volkswagen, the wagon of the people. I watched this video on YouTube, it was hilarious, of the accents that you have to do. It's proper, it's Opel. Opel and Audi, not Audi, or was it Audi?
One Rani is following the family.
Welcome to the family, or should I say to the Matrix. It's so good to have you, Virani. You gotta drop a follow, that's good, right? That was worth it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Now you know you gotta also clip it. Then you know it's official. Clip your favorite part. Submit that clip. It's good. It's good to have you guys here. Hope you're doing well on this Friday. Hope you guys are excited for the weekend. And you're gonna be getting up to something exciting. And as for me, just slogging through the basics of JavaScript. I think we're getting close to the end. Let's continue. Logical order in if-else statements. Order is important in if statements. The function is executed from top to bottom, so you'll want to be careful of what statements come first. Take these two functions as an example. If x less than 1 returns less than 1, else if x less than 2, but I'll never get to less than 2 because less than 1 will be first and it will exit there. That I know. And the second just switches the order of the statements. That will execute first if the number happens to be 2 or less than 2. So 1, whereas less than 1 would be 0 or negative. While these two functions looks nearly identical, if we pass a number to both we get different outputs. Of course we do. That makes sense. Virani, do you have any other programming experience? I created some mods for Skyrim. And that's in Skyrim's proprietary scripting language, Papyrus, which is an absolute nightmare because there's hardly any documentation available on it. And I guess that's how I have a bit of experience in it, I guess. In 2015, so 4 years ago, I started on this course, I covered the basics, and then I stopped because I was like, hey, I want to build something. So I built a little prototype resource management JavaScript, like web-based, text-based game. I've shown it before, but I can show it again. Nope, not that one. This one. So it's very basic, and you've got buildings that you can upgrade, and they cost resources. So like the carbon mine here costs 3 hydrogen, for example. We have 500. And if I build it, you'll see I have 497. So it took 3. It builds the carbon mine, and then eventually we will now start producing carbon. So you can see slowly that number is going to tick up. Very slowly, because we get 9 an hour, but if I keep upgrading it, I'll keep getting more carbon. This is just a homage to my favorite types of games back in the day. I used to love these resource management text-based games. So my plan is eventually to make one, make it exciting. I'm like quite impressed with what I did here. I even added fades to like these horizontal lines. I'm like, damn. And I haven't really been doing that in my projects recently, and the background's kind of cool. Okay, the buttons are just basic, and I've even got block enabled for building, so you can't build a building if you're already building. Damn, check this number get high. We got 82 an hour. That number's rising. I love seeing numbers rise. And then obviously I will check to say you do not have the required resources to perform this action. Why? Because we need... Oh, we're missing silicon. We don't have enough silicon. So yeah, that's basically what I did with like just the basics of JavaScript. I was like, I really want to do this. And that's the most frustrating part. A lot of people, myself included, don't really want to go through the basics. They want to build things and, you know, do something now without putting the effort into investing into figuring out how things work, and that really does trip you up, because then you get to the point where you're frustrated and you don't understand what's going on, you don't know how to make it work, and you're mad and whatever, and that could have all been avoided if you just took the time to study. So I guess this challenge for me is to just force myself to get through everything no matter what, and when I'm done, well, then we're pretty much free to do anything, you know, and then I'm pretty sure I can build this thing without having, you know, gotten frustrated. You just ignite the spark in me which wants to create some simple game. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy to hear that, and I would love to see how that goes. So please do feel free to share your progress. You can like tweet me on Twitter or retweet it. Feel free to share it in the chat and we can go through it together, because I'd love to be a part of that and see what people create together. I think it's amazing. And I absolutely agree, the motivation is incredible. Having people like you come out and just you know, share your stories with me and make little jokes here and comments. I mean, it's far better than just sitting around and, you know, doing it by myself, if that makes sense. But I'm stuck in learning some job-related stuff. I mean, I just got a job as a junior dev. That's awesome. Congratulations. That must have been really exciting that your skills finally get put to a test and you get recognized and acknowledged. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely like keep growing from there. And I feel the more projects you do, the more experience you're going to get. So it's just going to get better and better from there. But I feel I'm going to unwind and relax tonight, so that's going to be good. If you guys don't know, I have a gaming channel. It is linked on my Twitch page. Maybe if you guys are interested, you want to drop by in about, what, 4 hours? So 7 PM GMT plus 2. I'm going to be streaming my horror series. That's how I unwind, by getting the shit scared out of me. So if you guys want to drop by and join for that, that would be awesome. It's a little bit different, because instead of coding, we're actually having fun. And you get to see my reactions firsthand, because I have my webcam enabled. I'm playing Soma at the moment. It started off very short. It's based off the devs that did Amnesia, both the Dark Descent and A Machine for Pigs. Really great games. And it's underwater based, and I've always had this phobia of deep water, so yeah, so far it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. But I mean, since I'm assuming you're Russian, or like I'm out of it because you said my pronunciation is good, so then I have to say Ukrainian/Russian based, the Stalker series. Oh no, Chiki Briki. I love the Stalker series, especially Call of Pripyat. That to me. And though Shadow of Chernobyl is also good. But both of those are just, they do it for me. Like, I love Fallout, but I will play a Stalker game anytime. They're amazing. The bandits. So yeah, there's definitely some really good games out there. I wish they create Stalker 2, right? I hope they do. Eventually, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're just biding their time. And eventually, we're gonna get something at some point. We have to. And there's lots of mods. Like the Misery mod is exceptional. If you haven't checked it out, do. Misery 2. It like completely overhauls the game. It just makes it so much better.
Ja, Maslin Shlomi!
Oh. That brings back memories. So where were we? If else, else if. Okay, so we need to change the order of the logic so that it corrects it. So if value is less than 10, if else if is less than 5. Well, I basically have to do this now. Then I copy and paste. There you go. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. And there we are. And then Bob is your uncle. Or Putin, if you would much rather prefer. Chaining if-else statements. If-else statements can be chained together for complex logic. Here is pseudocode of multiple chained if-else if statements. Oh, Christopherus, you're still here, right? Because there's something I want to figure out that confuses me still. You know, you can go array.length, right? Then you've got array.shift. What I don't understand is why can't I call it like this? Because this is what trips me up. In my other language, you know, you could just call .shift, whereas here I have to have the parentheses because it's a method, where I think length is a property, right? But then why wouldn't you call length like that? And why can you call it just directly like that, but you can't call shift directly? When it is built in. Shift is built into JavaScript, right? Just like length is. So why does shift need the parentheses? Why doesn't length need the parentheses? Because that tripped me up earlier. I wanted to do length like that. Shift is a method function. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured that out. So methods, when you say method versus function, are methods the same as functions, or is method different to a function? Okay, so I was right, that is a property. So properties, I'm sure there are more properties. I only know of length now off the top of my head. And what if you had a prototype and you had color defined in it and you went array.color? That would be the same, right? You're calling a property of the object. If we're talking OOP now, object-oriented programming, dot color would get the property of the object. If it was my object dot color, for example, that would return the color as a property, right? Whereas my object dot set color, that would be a method. Okay, method is a function on a class, although there's no classes technically. Yeah, I keep hearing that, and then TypeScript brings classes. So what do people mean by that? There's no classes. Do we just call a method a class, and a function is a function? Because that's something I'd love to understand. I'm just used to functions being this. Functions run things. They make things happen. So maybe if I learn a different language, I'll understand methods better, but what does it mean specifically in JavaScript? Because you say method is a function on a class, but we don't have a class in JavaScript. So what does that directly mean? We create classes with functions in JavaScript. Constructor and prototype. Okay. It's like you better read some article on this. Okay, fair enough. OOP in JavaScript is a tricky thing. I know. I actually did prototyping in that little game I showed you. Okay, so constructors and prototypes are classes because they inherit. They inherit the parent, right? Is that what we mean then? There are also setters and getter for class properties, so you can also do object.color equal to 1. You learn this later in the curriculum. Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on. Wait, I didn't even do anything, sorry. Right chained right chained if else if statements to fulfill the following conditions. So we need to start with the biggest one and work our way down. So if num greater than equal to 20, return huge. Inheritance works by connecting prototypes, if I remember correctly. Pardon my English. Pardon your Ruski, more like it. Else if proto and stuff like this. Okay, do you need to specifically add those underscores? Because from what I remember, you can't add underscores in a variable name. So is that the exception? And that's pure JavaScript. Come on. Num less than 15. Return medium. Else if num, can't we just do switch? They make us write the super long thing, I get it, but I guess repetition is what's gonna really stick into your head, huh? Else we're gonna return tiny. We don't need the less than 5, we just say tiny. If it's less than 10, else return tiny. That should work. And I probably need... I keep forgetting these freaking semicolons. You need the semicolons, don't you? Oh wait, you don't need semicolons if it's in a block like this and it's the only one, right? You don't need semicolons then. if I'm not mistaken. There is class in ES6, so no one uses prototypes anymore since this, I guess. Yeah, but under the hood class is a syntax sugar for prototype and constructor. I keep hearing that term, syntax sugar. Else if, else if, else if, else, just return. Wait, it needs to be, this needs to be part of an else. There we go. Phew! Huge, large, medium, small. Wait, what happened? Why is this an issue? Show me what you're doing. 14 should return medium. Less than 15, else if. Did I break this somewhere now? That's the one, else if. That's the one. No, I didn't break it, so what am I doing wrong? For prototype and constructor, proto is a connection between objects, a special property. When we read a prop from object, if there is no such prop on the object, JavaScript goes to proto, which in reference to some other object, and searches for the required prop from there, like parent object. I might be wrong and confuse you, so you better read some docs on that. No, I appreciate the fact that you still explain that to me, and I'm sure Christopher will also say something if it's like not quite the same. Okay, I think I know why. So huge and large work fine. It's something between medium. Why are you not returning medium? What did I do wrong to you? Okay, I'm spending too long on this. Do you guys see anything wrong here that you can hint towards? Try to find what you want it returns. Try to find what you want. It never goes to num10. If number is less than 15. Oh, I made the exact same issue that I freaking made earlier. You need to start with the smallest one. I always thought that you start with the biggest one. Ah, that's if it's greater. Okay, this is on me. If the number is greater than 20, that can stay with huge. Else if the number is less than 10, so we're going to do less than 10, it becomes small. If it's less than 15, it goes medium. If it's less than 20, it goes large, else it's tiny. Wait, no, that will be wrong, because 0, this will be less than 10. So we kind of need tiny here. So if it's less than 5, we need tiny. If it's less than 10, it needs to be small. Less than 15 needs to be medium. Else it can be large. Let's just make sure that's true. Do we have anything for less than 20? If you got 20, so 20 comes in. Is it greater than 20? No. Is it less than 15 or any of these? No. So that return large should be correct. I just want to make sure, guys, when I do the semicolons, because that trips me up. When they're in part of a block like this, and it's the only bit of code in there, you don't need to add a colon, right? Semicolon. Or is it best practice to still add it, even though it's the only one? What do you guys do? Best practice to put semicolons, I believe. You don't need any at all, but you should set them. Almost everywhere except for a few places like function declarations and something with methods. Don't remember exactly. Okay, fair enough. So let's do this. We should pass. There we go. Got a bit tripped up, but that's good. Golf code! Hey! Although I remember the game where you do code golf, where you have to make like crazy stuff happen with code and like this least amount of characters used. That's crazy. Maybe one day I can do that. In the game of golf, each hole has a par, meaning the average number of strokes a golfer is expected to make in order to sink the ball in a hole to complete the play. Depending on how far above or below par your strokes are, there is a different nickname. Your function will be passed par and strokes arguments. Return the correct string according to this table, which lists the strokes in order of priority, top highest to bottom lowest. Why can't we just do a switch? We're going to do that at another point, I know. When in doubt, refer to Google Style Code Guide or Airbnb. Airbnb has a style guide? Really? They're that big? Interesting. Or is that a joke? If... And you know what's annoying? I always capitalize my if in the other language. So yet another thing to get out of the habit. JavaScript, everything is lowercase in terms of functions, names, methods, definitions. Like I will have function, so I know it's big, and if and else, especially in batch as well. So this trips me up. Okay, so if, what is the parameter? Strokes. If strokes is equal to 1, return hole in 1. Here's the guide. Oh, there's actually one. Thank you. So what is Babel? Because I see even FreeCodeCamp uses it. The compiler. What? Wow, so it's like TypeScript. It makes it simple. Is it specifically for browsers? I've got a lot to learn, so I'm gonna save all of these. Airbnb and Babel and Google JavaScript. For a style guide, it's not that pretty, is it? Jeez. They call them Goog. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to learn is namespaces. But I guess that will come there eventually. Block indentation of 2 spaces, okay. So it's just coding best practice of styling. This is specifically for browsers now though. Backend. User property value shorthand. Okay, why is this bad versus the good one? I assume both of these are pure JavaScript, right? Is this naming the object? Giving the object name of Luke Skywalker the name Luke Skywalker, or am I missing something? If an object key has the same value as the value, you write it only once. Oh, okay. So it's redundant. Does JavaScript just know that by default? That makes sense. Huh, learn something new. Like const something, 1 to 3 object, something something. Yeah, okay.
Alchemy is following the family.
We've got alchemy! Shit! You know what that means? We can finally bring back some ancient knowledge. It's so good to have you, Alchemy. How's it going?
I feel excited now. We need to go save the brothers. It's ES6 feature, yeah, well, it's part of the curriculum. Okay, thanks for that. So let's see if we can get this right now. So we're gonna do a... What is the term? The equality? The strict, the totalitarian regime of Putin conditional checking, where it is exactly 1. We could do type conversion, but we need the Putin conversion. So what are our options? Par -1, par. Jesus, they really made this a bit more complicated for us, huh? Less than or equal to par minus... Let's do the ones that we know. Else if strokes equal to par exactly, return par. If you guys have a better way of doing this, you can feel free to let me know, but this is the way that I go with the ones we know. So par and hole in 1. Then I guess we can start working down the chain and then up the chain. What's the final one? Less than or equal to? So that should be a final one for the negative. This is the next logical one. I'll change them afterwards. Let me just write them out. Syntax error. Oh yay, already? Where do I have a syntax error? I've just begun and I already have one. Strokes. Ah, okay, right. I got you. Return else if. What are we gonna return now? This one is for birdie. Got a birdie. And then the final one, else if this is strokes less than or equal to par minus 2. Wait, why the hell did I do that? Then we're gonna return eagle. So what's the logical process? If you got exactly 1, we're going to go hole in 1. Else, if your strokes are equal to par, we're going to return par. Else, if your strokes equal to par minus 1, minus 2 needs to come first, because this will resolve first. So minus 2, then minus 1. Cool. Then the next ones are bogey, double, bogey, and go home. So we got par plus 1 is a bogey, not a bodgy, bogey. Par plus 2 is a double bogey. And finally, I guess the final one could just be a return of go home. I just want to evaluate and check first. Not that one, sorry, this one. Okay, so let's check logically. You get exactly the 1 for 1, you get a return hole in 1. If it's not, and you get exactly par, you get a par. Else, if your strokes are par minus less than or equal to par minus 2, less than or equal to, so that's the highest number. Else, if it's par minus 1, good. Else, if it's par plus 1, else if it's par plus 2, else if it's anything else, if it's not exactly par plus 2, then it's going to be go home. And I can't see any other match because this covers anything that's less than par minus 2. And there's par minus 1. What about par? We got par. Yeah, so logically this should be it. Yay! On the first try! Woohoo! That was a bit complicated though. I don't think I would do it that way, in all honesty. I feel that's way too many. From what I've learned in the 2 years of doing mods, if you've got more than 2 ifs, then you're doing something wrong and you need to figure out another way. Smaller functions or whatever. Yay! Selecting from many options with the switch statements. It teaches you the concepts. Yeah, definitely how to do it. But don't you think it's better if they taught you best practices first? As in, why bother teaching you how to do if-else statements if they could teach you a better way of doing it? Like you have a major data set, why not do it this way? You know what I mean? Using something like a for loop. We haven't even done for loops. So it's alright, you need to figure out the basics. Yeah, I agree. I think it's maybe because I'm already past the basics. So to me it's like, no, but you can do it better. For someone that's just starting. I just feel though you're setting someone up for failure if you teach them how to do it incorrectly the first time. Because then they're going to use like massive... I've seen it. People use 30 chained if-else statements. And it's like completely unreadable. Where it could be literally 3 lines of code. And you just use a for loop to iterate through an array. You go from basics to advanced. You can't just jump straight in. Yeah, that's true. And I did the basics at some point. At this point you don't think about something big. No, that's true. But that was quite a lot to go and edit now. Even for me. That was like a lot of things to change. So Whew. Selecting from many options. So if you have many options to choose from, so this is the example of the previous one, a better way to do it using a switch statement. A switch statement tests a value and can have many case statements which define various possible values. Statements are executed from the first matched case value until a break is encountered. So kind of like the first if that gets matched, you can break and return from there. So break is to break out of the switch, not necessarily to return from what I remember. Instead of a break, can you have a return in a switch statement? Because normally you have the return at the end of it. They first show you how to make it complicated, and after this they show you how you can do it better. Yeah. Okay. So here's a pseudocode example. Case values are tested with strict equality. The break tells JavaScript to stop executing statements. If the break is omitted, the next statement will be executed. Oh god, please don't execute the next statement. That sounds horrible. Write a switch statement which tests val, okay, and selects and sets the answer for the following conditions. Do I have to only change code below this line? So case 1 does it work like this? It has to be underneath? Is that how it works? It's been so long since I used it. So you have a tab break between the case. And since you want it to break there, you need to add a break. Break doesn't allow code to continue, so it won't check for all the statements, right? So kind of like a return. I'm actually a little surprised they put switch here so early. I discovered it way later when I was learning. Yeah, I guess it's because previously you did that whole convoluted if-else, so it makes sense of, hey, this is an easier way instead of doing, you know, what you just did earlier. Because now I could have literally just put the value of the par in there and we just run test cases, which is way easier. Still not the easiest, but way easier. Look at the example. Yeah, I see the example, but I'm trying not to look at it because then I want to figure it out, but without looking at the example. You forgot switch. Oh, I thought they did switch. Never mind, the function, they didn't even bold it. Switch. Oh, you can have a switch in a function. So what is switch then? Switch is like a built-in function or what? I didn't realize that. That's cool. So you have a switch in a function. So switch val, then we got case. Can you not write it like this? Case 1, alpha. Does it have to be underneath? Just asking for like clarity's sake. Wait, does it have to say value? You don't need value 1. Case, the first one is the oh shit. Case 1, that needs to be val, right? No, val is the input. And that's what you want to check for. If it's 1, it's alpha. If it's 2, it's beta. Oh, but the actual strings, not variables. My bad. Yeah, switch is a way to use if statements for many cases without writing if statements, yeah. So is this how you do it? And you can't do it this way, right? It needs to be underneath each other. So after beta it's usually gamma and then delta. Then we need to close off the switch statement. Cool. What do you want me to do? Write a switch statement which tests val and sets answer for the following conditions. Oh, so answer equal to alpha. I'm not sure you can just put strings in there. Yeah, I figured that out afterwards. There's no easier way of writing this. What a nightmare still. And I need my brakes. You know what I would do? There's that key pair function, I don't know what it's called. I learned it at some point in time when I was doing this section. But you do a key pair and then you have an array, a 2D array. And the one values has the numbers like this, 1 to 4, and the second one has the strings. And then you just do a for loop and you match at index 0, return that value at index 0. At index 1, you know what I mean. That would probably be an easier way. But obviously, if you're doing the basics, you won't know about that yet, so... so I think that's it. No, only reason I mention this is because I've already done the basics 4 years ago. Like you will see. So I'm only doing it for, you know, posterity's sake and doing it on the stream. But if you look, I've already done. I don't know why I skipped to iterate with JavaScript. I hated loops. I love loops now, but back then I hated them. So I managed to get all the way, unless these are new things that they added. Maybe I did complete it all and these are new things they added. Because I did hear they've kept adding things to the curriculum. But you see, I've done all of it. The basics. Then I didn't touch E6. And there was some stuff that I touched which was weird. It just looked random. I did like the basic algorithm scripting. And that was about it. So yeah. It gives you consistency in your knowledge. Exactly, yeah. Because it was a while ago. That's good to remember now. Do you guys ever feel that you forget the things that you've learned? Like obviously as you build, it like gets, you know, ingrained into you. I was modding for 2 years, and if I took like a 3-4 month break, I would be like, what the hell is going on? But then after like 20-30 minutes, I'll be like, cool, yeah, and then I get back into it. Do you ever feel like there's a point where you just like literally forget? Or is it like always there and you just kind of have to jog your memory? Because I'm sure if you just did this course and you built nothing, you would forget. Whereas if you keep building, so I guess that's the key, and that's why we have projects here. Adding a default option in switch statements. In a switch statement, you may not be able to specify all possible values as case statements. Instead, you can add the default statement, which will be executed if no matching case statements are found. Think of it like the final else statement in an if-else chain. The default statement should be the last case. Write a switch statement to set answer for the following conditions. Oh, we're doing switch again, but I just wrote it. Okay, what do you want me to do? Case. What are we checking? If it's A, then answer equal to apple. Break. Take a break. If it's B, what is it? Banana? Bird. And C is for cat. And D is for drill. Oh, there is no D. So default. Default. What's the default statement? Stuff. Fair enough. Just stuff. What are you doing? Stuff. Break. Why do you need a break in default? Doesn't it just go out automatically? If default is the last thing, why do you need a break? What do you guys said? In regards to, do you remember things if you've taken a break? You forget after a huge amount of time. It's like with foreign languages. Google is the key, you can't remember everything. Right, you will remember something but won't be able to do anything with it. Yeah, but we're talking about skills, not just random facts. You can't Google a skill level. Googling is a skill, I agree. You need to know how to Google effectively using keywords. God, some people really Google the most random stuff. It's like people don't understand it's keywords. So the less that you type in, like people really, I've seen people type in actual full-on sentences. Why does JavaScript not understand when I try to put in a variable and it returns, I'm like, what? JavaScript and your error, or whatever it is. Simple. Stack Overflow is key. Love that site. But yeah, it's good to have as much understanding as you can and not oversaturate yourself and then go build projects. Because that's pretty much how I learned, and it worked effectively for me. I guess everyone's different, but I looked at other people's work to try and understand stuff that so I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. So I looked at other people's work that does something similar, and I tried to figure out how they did it. Then I incorporated that and I added my own unique touch. And the more I did, the more I searched, the more I researched, the better I got, to a point where I didn't really have to do that anymore. It's like, yeah, I know how to do this. But like I said, everyone's different. That's learning and practice. It's a really good way to learn. Yeah, definitely. I prefer practical over theory. I mean, obviously it's not the same as, you know, let's say if you're a doctor or something, but in most cases, practical over theory is far better. Because you actually get to see firsthand. It's like different, yeah, this is what you do, that's what you do, that's how you do it. Versus actually seeing how it works. Also, you gotta know you need to know some theory. Yeah, I agree. It's like that balance. Anyway, I think we're done. And I wanted to know, before I go on, why do we need a break if default is the last thing? And we've already set the value. It's not like it's going to start the switch over again. So why do you need a break? In fact, will it let us pass if we don't have the break? It will. So it's not crucial. They added it in their example. I mean, they kind of shot themselves in the foot, right? They said the default is the last statement, and in an else statement, you don't need it. Yeah, okay, so I was right. Jace lets you do a lot of stuff. I just want to do the right stuff, you know, not something that's gonna, you know, give me a like, haha, gotcha. I think it's just for consistency in code. Okay. Multiple identical options in switch statements. Oi, oi, oi. If the break statement is omitted from a switch statement's case, the following case statements are executed until a break is encountered. If you have multiple inputs, so this is kind of like the OR operand. If you have multiple inputs with the same output, you can represent them in a switch statement like this. Case 1, case 2, case 3, result equal to 1, 2, or 3. Which one is it? I guess if you don't care. Break. Case 4, result 4 alone. Shame. Cases for 1, 2, and 3 will all produce the same result. Write a switch statement to set answer for the following ranges. What's our input? Again, val. So 1 to 3. How do you do 1 to 3? Oh, so you can't just do 1 to 3 like that. You have to literally go freaking case 1, case 2. Oh. Result. No, it's answer. Answer equal to, what do you want the answer to be? 1 to 3 is low. Switch is really useful later, for example in Redux, for reducers. Redux? For reducers? In what sense? I need a break. Case 4. Case 5, case 6, answer is equal to mid, 7 to 9. Why can't I have, do I have to specify 7, 8, 9? I thought there'd be an easier way. Can you do less than in a case? So like, can't I do like less than 5? Is that not valid? Does case specifically need a specific value? Redux is a tech for keeping the state in your app. Don't worry about it for now. Okay. Switch is... oh, okay, so switch is Putin style checking. Gotcha. I've heard you don't need Redux anymore since they got React context. I'll let you guys have your fancy conversation. So case 7, case 8, case 9. Answer equal to hi. Do we need a default? They didn't specify we need a default. Why can't we go cheeky, breaky like that? Break. Ah, my keys today. Cool. No! I'm glad to have a confirmation for reset. Jeez, that would have ruined us. Replacing if-else chains with switch. If you have many options to choose from, as in the golf code, a switch statement can be easier to write than many chained if-else if statements. The following can be replaced with case 1, answer A, break. You know what's ironic? This is more lines of code than the if. Because of the breaks. Just in this specific example, obviously. I gotta change it all. Why do you do this to me? Switch value. There you are. If, no if, you are now going to become case Bob. I think that should work. If your case is Bob, wait, case Bob. Then what's the next thing? We need the variable answer equal to Marley. That is how case works. They only showed us numeric values before, like 1, 2. Case does support strings, right? I assume that's the case. Break. Case. (42) answer equal to the answer. Break. Case 1 answer. There is no answer. There is no number 1. Case 99. 99 of fun. Yeah, and it's better for performance. Okay, you guys not talking about that. So, like I was saying, case, does it support strings? Because right now we've been doing numerical values. Case 7. 7 of 9. Okay, we don't need that anymore. Oh, and this is going to be return answer. Yeah, that's fine. Do we need a default? No, we don't need a default. So that should be it. I guess we're going to find out if it supports strings. It does! Cool! Returning Boolean values from functions. You may recall from comparison with the equality operator that all comparison operators return a Boolean true or false value. Sometimes people use an if-else statement to do a comparison, like this. Function is equal AB. If A
equal to B, return true, else return false. But there's a better way to do this. Since the explicit, what is it called again? It's not explicit. Equality. Exact equality? No, what was the term? Strict. No, it's not strict. Something equality. Absolute. Putin equality. What is it called? It's gonna drive me crazy now. I know what it does, but what is the actual... Equality is 2. 3 of them is... explicit. No. I'm trying to figure out what the name of the 3 equality is. 2 of them is equality. What is 3? Strict equality. Ah, there we go. Thank you. That's how I remember. Totalitarian regime. Strict. There's a better way to do this. Function is equal AB, return A. Oh wow. So you could do it directly in there? How? That's crazy. They tell me you can do it, but they don't explain how that's possible. Because there you're doing an if. So you can literally return, and this is a calculation in the return? Oh, because you could do return 6 minus 5 and you'll get 1. I guess there's no difference to that. It does the calculation. Okay, so if you can return the value, it will make sense. You return a boolean or whatever. Okay, fair enough. And it returns boolean, yeah. Okay, fix the function is less to remove the if-else statements. Return A less than B. That's so easy. Wow. This is like me writing code. It's like so messy. And then you can simplify it. Wow. I gotta remember that. I was always afraid of returns. Guess because I never understood them and they didn't explain them, but now, like, this has grown. In 4 years, the curriculum is way better than what it used to be. Return early pattern for functions. When a return statement is reached, the execution of the current function stops and control returns to the calling location. Function myfun console.log hello return world. We're never going to get to bye-bye. myfun. The above outputs hello to the console, returns world, but bye-bye is never output because the function exits at the return statement. Modify the function AB test so that if A or B are less than 0, the function will immediately exit with the value of undefined. Okay, so we literally just go return. Oh, do we need an if now? Because you would return undefined. But you need to know. So do we need an if? Is there a way I can do it in this return call? What if you just did return a... Oh, you can't. If A or B. So that means if A less than 0, B less than 0. Do I need an if? I don't know if you guys like... Ah, do you see? I'm getting confused again. Again, in the other language that I'm used to, if has a block, end if. And I was going to type end if now. I forgot that here it's just block quotes. It would be so nice if it used this. Since you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Here is what I'm talking about. Do you see here? If there's your condition in brackets, else if in brackets. Very simple. I prefer this one. It's like if condition, we do this. Else if we do this. No extra brackets. Look how easy that is. Else if we do this, and then you end if. So literally the brackets are literally just if and end if. Yeah, this language uses like many different styles, but this is one thing I really prefer, is the way that it handles if. It has indentation though. Yeah, it does. Yeah, let's not look at this, okay? There is no switch. There is no switch. There's no other way. You need an array of them. I guess I could have done this in an array. But at the time, that's how I did it. Because I was like, oh, there's only 15 of them. And then here, I had to calculate the power of, and then do some complex calculations to figure out a dynamic cost that scales with the player level and the skill level. And then a lot of debug messages, because you know it was very important to know exactly what's happening, and I could turn the debug messages on and off with just a single global variable, which was cool. But I missed that. It's just so nice, just the way you write the ifs, and I get tripped up here. And the whiles are nice too, while and end while. It's the same as I keep wanting to call it batch. What was the other one? What was that language now? PSC. It's not batch. It's not Perl. Not. Need to think of it now. What is it? No, it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't figure out what it is. I'm just trying to figure out that language that I'm referring to. That has begin, ends, and all that. Dolphin was one of its names, a previous one of it. Pascal, yes! Thank you. It's Pascal. Delphi, yes, I don't know why I said Dolphin. Delphi. That was a derivative of Pascal, right? Or similar. Dolphin. That's how I remembered it. So I did a bit of Pascal, and like that's where I remember the blocks. But look how nice the while statements are. It's like you got while, and then you get the if and the end if, and then like everything is block code. Like why can't we have that? What language is like this? Did you say Python? So then I'm going to enjoy Python. And again, another thing you'll notice, you literally don't have to have freaking semicolons. Why did JavaScript decide that? Why is it important? Everything's in a block. That makes more sense than literally having every line have a semicolon. Like who decided it's a great idea to have a semicolon? Just have everything in a block. Whiles are in blocks. Loops are in blocks. Ifs are in blocks. The indentation here is 4, standard. It may look a bit weird, but it's only 4. I can't remember if it was 4 tabs. I'll show you what it looks like in my editor quickly. Where's my thing? Come here, where's my notepad? There it is. Let me pull up here. So it's 1 tab, or 4 spaces I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I think just GitHub makes it look a bit more. I don't know. But it's only 4. 1 tab or 4 spaces. The indentation is a tab each time. God, there's a lot that I need to still finish up with my mod. But I'm excited. Eventually I can get back to that. But I mustn't get carried away, because the whole point of all that was modding got me carried away. I don't know why it looks more here. That is a tab. Why I think it looks more is because of also the padding here on the side. That is definitely a single tab. I mean, if I copy it into here, whatever. Okay, so you said that I don't need brackets. That makes sense, yes. I'm always used to brackets for like sanitization, I guess. Or ever since I had that freaking nightmare with maths where you wanted to multiply something like 1 plus 2 times 3 and then you fucking freak out because like why the fuck are you not getting the number that you think you're gonna get, which is 9, because 1 plus 2 times 3 is not 9 because the multiplication happens before because fucking bod math. So you need to go and bracket this to get 9. Right? Am I right? Huh? Maths? Not even once. Because 1 plus 2 times 3, in case you're wondering, will give you 7. This will give you 7. And this will give you 9. Maths is amazing, and this is not even advanced maths. This is like basic high school level maths. But ever since those days, I was putting everything in brackets. So I guess it's just a bad habit. Anyway, do I need the if? Before I continue with this, what do you guys think? This is how I would write it. If a less than 0, because the test is if a or b are less than 0. So it's if a less than 0 or b less than 0, return undefined. You should use brackets for code editor then. For code editor? Is brackets a app or something? I've heard of that before. Adobe brackets. Okay, never heard of it before. Something I'm gonna have to look at. Great pun. Went totally over my head. VS Code. When you guys say VS Code, I think I get that. That's Visual Studio, right? But is there actual... Do you mean like Visual Studio? Like a student edition or some kind of edition? Or is it actually called VS Code? Visual Studio Code. Okay. Is it free? Because I know Visual Studio is not. It's free and open source. What? The only issue is that Papyrus, I would have to get it to support Papyrus. Like it knows every language, but obviously it's not going to know some game scripting language that's not that popular or used by anyone except the one game. So I use Notepad++ because I have custom like stuff set up. It's not an IDE SVS, it's an editor. Okay. Yeah, open source by Microsoft. That's why I was like, what? I mean, Microsoft's changing their tone. And I mean, they even helped get free private repositories on GitHub. What is Microsoft playing at, huh? Wait, there's a Papyrus? There's a package for oh. What? And you did a quick Google? No, someone actually made it? What? No ways. Okay, but that's Fallout 4. Where's Skyrim? I assume it will work for Skyrim. Because some things are specific to Fallout 4 that you can't do in Skyrim. I'll have to test it out and see, I guess that's the only way. There's no keyword for Skyrim though. But maybe it works, who knows? Papyrus. Which is the most popular one? 2,000 downloads. Papyrus script support for VS Code. What Papyrus? What Papyrus is it? And it's like version 0.01. Can you trust it? 2,000 downloads. Papyrus. Fallout 4 and Skyrim language support. With code completion, yay! Okay. I like this. Nice! Oh my god, this is gonna be so amazing! I'm so excited for this, you have no idea! Because I have to literally type everything by hand, and then I compile, and then it's like, oh, hey, it didn't work. Thank you guys. Welcome to 2019, right? I'm in the Stone Ages! Like legitimately, I'm in the Stone Ages, check this. When I want to write something like game, you see it doesn't know about game. The only reason it's bringing stuff up now is things that I have already typed out in this document. So game.getPlayer. The only reason these things are even here is because, like I said, I typed it out. getPlayer.getStatCount or whatever. Wow, that's gonna make things so much easier. Thank you guys. I'm gonna have to obviously get used to it because there's a lot of things I'm used to in here. But I'm sure everything that I can do in here, I can do there. Just tell me now if I can set up Visual Studio. Is Visual Studio better? Because you can get like Visual Studio like Student or something. Like there's a free view. I mean, I have Visual Studio on my machine. I have Visual Studio 2015. So just explain to me IDE versus editor, because I've not really had much experience with that. I know it's an integrated development environment, if I remember correctly. So it allows you to store your files and stuff and like basically work in one place with all your projects, right? Yeah, I know it's not Visual Studio. I just meant this compared to Visual Studio. Like if I can use Visual Studio, should I rather use that? I assume it's the same, just, you know, you got more in Visual Studio. Does that look like it's got integrated like freaking push to GitHub? Wow. In an IDE you have a designer for forms, etc. Okay, when you say designer for forms, is that for every language? So I can have designer for forms for JavaScript, or Python or stuff like that? Whatever it supports, I assume, right? What else can I do in an IDE that I can't do in the editor? And obviously I assume I can't compile code. Wait, you can. You would in Visual Studio, not Visual Code, unless it's got a compiler built in for that specific language, obviously. And JavaScript you don't have to compile, because it's at runtime. So I'm only thinking apps like Python, apps, Windows desktop apps stuff, that's what you have to compile, yeah, before you can actually use it. But because JavaScript is also a web-based language built into the browser with native engine support, that just runs at runtime, right? Well, it gets compiled at runtime. I'm excited for this. I can't wait. And this Joel Day, what a guy. 8 open issues. Oh no, why are there issues? Linting features. What is linting, guys? I've always heard about that.
And it's the owner of the project that's actually making these issues. So that's a good thing. It's like he's aware of it. He's just keeping it so that he can update. There are extensions which enable compiling feature, I think, for VS Code. Well, I can't explain, didn't work with IDEs much. Okay, well, I'm definitely grabbing this. Thank you, you guys are incredible. So I'm gonna download the 64-bit. It seems they only have a 64-bit. Oh, Microsoft is gonna spy on me even more than it already does. Yay! I would use Visual Studio only for net stuff. And anything else that... What about JavaScript? I mean, it seems to be better for Papyrus. That's at least one thing. And any other language that's not like officially, you know, supported. Disabling telemetry was the first thing I did. Wait. What does a symbol outline mean? Oh, I see what it means. Cool, thank you guys. We got a bit derailed there, but that was worth it. And I'll have to figure out... So, Christopher, let's say I'm building my little web-based game, right? Would I do that in Visual Studio or would I do it in VS Code? VS Code, really? Because you said I would use Visual Studio only for Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. The only time you'll use Visual Studio is for .NET stuff. Otherwise, you would always use VS Code for everything. Okay. So, I mean, Notepad++ used to be the craze. Like, everyone uses it, and... Well, used to. I guess maybe I didn't catch up with like the trend, but I mean, I loved it. I mean, frick, compared to anything else, I used to use Adobe Dreamweaver, and then Notepad++ was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then other people went to Atom. I don't know if you guys know of Atom, and that looked kind of really cool, but then you needed to know the knowledge of Vim and all that other stuff, which I didn't at the time. But yeah. It depends on the language you're using, but for many of them, I just think the fact that it allows you that autocomplete, that alone will save you that much time. Atom is good as well, yeah. Okay, let's move on faster. The quicker I get this, the quicker I can get done. Counting cards. In the casino game Blackjack, a player can gain an advantage over the house by keeping track of the relative number of high and low cards remaining in the deck. This is called card counting. Having more high cards remaining in the deck favors the player. Each card is assigned a value according to the table below. When the count is positive, the player should bet high. When the count is 0 or negative, the player should bet low. You will write a card counting... Okay, before I do, what's chat say? I was on Notepad++ and also didn't like Atom, but love VS Code. Autocomplete is now like a default for every decent editor. When was the last time you checked Atom? Christopher's. I don't know why I didn't like Atom. There was something about it. I had to look between an editor, and between Atom and Notepad++, I went for Notepad++. But it just feels clunky and outdated. Like, you know, call me a bit facetious or whatever, but look at VS Code, just like that look and feel, it just looks modern. And Notepad++ just looks like a reskinned Notepad. I just like something that looks good. I
I don't know, it's like clean, and I know you get skins for it. Mine was skinned as well, but it's not the same. It just still feels clunky. Okay, so you will write a card counting function. It will receive a card parameter, which can be a number or a string, and increment or decrement the global count variable according to the card's value. See table. The function will then return a string with the current count and the string bet if the count is positive, or hold if the count is 0 or negative. The current count and the player's decision bet or hold should be separated by a single space. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Do not reset count to 0. Do not return an array. Do not include quotes. I don't know what you want me to do. You will write a card. Oh, so I can just do it in any way I want. So it doesn't have to be switch. It could be anything. So based on all the experience, and it says do not return an array. Can I use an array? I'm gonna freaking use for loops now. Watch me. Don't tell me what to do. Shall we get the card? Wish me luck, guys. I'm gonna try something ambitious here. So we're gonna have all our cards. It just seems logical that we have them in an array. So cards equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I assume no need to give me any help or pointers unless I'm actually struggling. I want to really figure this out now. Let's see how much we know. Now we're gonna do a 4. It's even got like built in. You have 4 and while. Helpful hint, just write the just write the code, he says. I equal to 0. I less than cards dot length I plus plus, from what I remember, and then you do whatever you do in there. Now I need to do my check. So we're going to loop through every card, and then I guess we could do an if. No, there must be a better way. Because we know we want to check cards 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Another idea I could have is have 4 arrays. The first array is all the cards, and the other 3 arrays are... Okay, I'm just going to do it a longer way, but a more simplified way. I'm just going to go if x equal to cards I. If x equal to 2. So unusual to see vars nowadays. Is it because of the let, right? That I remember. God, this is gonna be hideous. Please don't judge me. Two, three. At least I'm going more advanced with the for loop, okay? Come on, I gotta get some credits there. So if x 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, then count plus equal to 1. That is some noise if expression. It's nice, eh? You're being sarcastic, aren't you? It's okay. Else. Oh god, you ready for some more? Seven, 8, 9. Count. Wait, we do nothing. We don't even need 7, 8, 9. We can literally do nothing. So you like spaghetti, right? Oh, I love spaghetti. Christopher is like, I can't watch this. Why? Did I butcher it up? I had a great idea with the array, and then I just messed it up with the if. What am I missing? Is there a better way to do this? I don't need else if. I literally don't need it. All I need to do is check for 10, Jack, Queen, King and Ace. King and Ace. You would only need the if code. That loop is unnecessary. Oh, you're true. The loop is unnecessary. Wait, the loop is not... Oh, because I'll just directly check what card is. If card. So I just wasted my time for nothing. But we're gonna leave the loop because, you know, we wrote it. Might as well stick with it. We have to do nothing for 7, 8, 9, so we literally do nothing. There. It's beautiful. It looks amazing, guys. I know you guys are just jealous. You wish you could write spaghetti like me. You could use a 2D array. I could at some point, yeah, but I don't want to like do something based on a suggestion that you said and I don't understand it, so I'd rather get there organically and just do it and complete it this way, I guess. So what do I have to return in the end? The amount. if count less than or equal to 0, decision equal to hold. Syntax, so used to block diffs. Else decision is going to be bet. And we might as well add the space here because they tell us to. So then we need to return count plus decision. Return count plus decision. There. How's that? Looks good? I think it looks good. But let's see, will it actually work? I would be surprised if it works on the first try. Legitimately. Especially with an array and a for loop. Assignment to undeclared variable x. What do you mean? Ah. Lost me on the most of that, still working my way through the basics. This is the basics. I think I just overcomplicated it. This is just side fun for me. Awesome. Well, welcome, by the way. It's really good to have you here. This chat generally has some awesome, friendly people that are more than happy to share their thoughts and experiences. And generally like to laugh along with or at me at my decision making. Oh, right. Well, as you can see, there's another reason to have a little laugh. Thank you, QQ noobs. Yeah. No, even some of this goes over my head, you know? So let's try to figure out why card sequence 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should return 5 bet. Wait, does it actually put in 2, 3, 7? Mm-hmm. And what are we returning? Should return 0 hold. So we did the 1, but not the others. Should return 5. Oh, we're not. Wait, we did say count plus equal to. So if x equal to 2, x is cards. That was silly. No wonder we're not even checking. If card equal to cards I. You know what I just realized? In doing it this way, we don't need the super long if statement. I just solved it and made it easier. Jeffrey and Rivera, welcome to the family! As well as QQ noobs! Yes!
Following the family.
2 new people that have joined the Matrix. Now you guys will see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know, thanks to that you gave me some motivation. And I just realized the whole reason why I did an array. Because it didn't make sense. I'm checking if card is strictly equal to cards array. The whole reason I made a for loop is to loop through every single card in there. I feel so dumb. So dumb. But it's fine. You learn. And I'm also going to blame it on the fact that, I don't know, insert generic excuse here. Else if... Wait, hold on. I just realized something now. I was just gonna distinguish between... Ah, I had something. Hold on, we mustn't give up. Let's do pos cards and neg cards. I think you guys know exactly where I'm going with this. So the cards that are going to be negative are 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. The positive ones are everything but that. Web Developer Bootcamp by Cold Steel. I have that exact same course that I need to get done. So that's going to be exciting. That's the bootcamp you're referring to, huh? Can we make a cleaner function here? Because right now all I'm going to do is duplicate this. Because that's the only way that I can see the quickest way of doing this right now in the same functionality. So we do the exact same, except this time we get the length of negative cards, we loop through it, and we check the card to negative cards, and if it matches, we de-increment the count negative equal to 1, and then this if statement should be fine. And that should work. Hold on, wait. Why did I have that there? There we go. So some of them are working. Why aren't others working? 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's the defaults, the default cases, I think, that we forgot about now. There are 3 0 cards. Oh, 7, 8, 9. So I'm actually not supposed to have those in, just do nothing with the others. There we go. Thanks. Oh, that would have taken me a while to realize. Because I initially added all the cards together. I'm sure that a month from now, even 10 days from now, considering that we completed the front-end stuff, we'll be able to look back and be like, seriously? But I feel this takes a lot more out of you emotionally. Is emotionally the right word? Mentally, rather, than the CSS and HTML stuff. It's just way basic. You're just playing around with elements. With JavaScript, you really have to like pick your brain and struggle, and I usually spend hours trying to solve solutions. But I guess that's most likely the case for everyone, huh? Oh, we're doing objects now! Exciting. You struggle with CSS? So then you can like mock my product landing page. Because I built this from the ground up. And a lot of thanks to Christopher and H3H3, who's not here today. That was amazing. Like, you should have seen how it looked like in the beginning. I think Christopher remembers. It was like red blocks and green blocks, just so I know where the elements are. I just find writing logic more interesting than decorating stuff. Yeah, I'm the exact same. I think that's why a lot of us do back-end instead of front-end, because we don't have that like artistic flair. Like, I know it looks nice, I know what colors look great together, it's just, yeah, the inspiration and like, I don't know, I can't describe it. I like writing code. I don't like designing things. That's why my portfolio This was at least something for the project. When I had to do the portfolio for myself, I was just like, I don't know what to put here. I was like, cool, hey look, I can have a CSS animation that looks like it's actually typing the text. I was like, that's cool. I could animate the menus so that when I mouse over the icons, it highlights the text, because these are separate elements. This is a link and this is an icon. I was like, cool, that's cool. Wait, this is the old project. Where's the updated portfolio? So much purple. Yeah, I love purple. It's my favorite color. This is the updated one, sorry. And then the other cool thing I did with JavaScript was when you mouse over the A link, the icons animate. Yay! It's like the small stuff. It's like adding a small touch here that most people won't realize until they actually, you know, interact with it. Same with the boxes. Like, these are my project boxes, and like when you mouse over them, they do a little like wobble. Did you use scroll snap here? What do you mean scroll snap? I don't know what you mean by scroll snap. So probably no, because I don't know what you mean. I use smooth scrolling, like that HTML property. Like, ironically, my proudest moment of this entire page is the contacts, the links. And how I achieved that was literally when you mouse over the area, I apply a class to the I tag. So you see the I tag here? It has three classes: Fab, FA, GitHub, and Profiling. When you mouse over the A tag, it adds the class of spinning icons. Then on mouse leave, the function, it removes it. So that's literally how I did that. And because I use the E argument, I get the parent of whatever is connected to it with the same ID as the class. So it's dynamic as well. I think you just scrolled down perfectly and stopped at the line. When you scroll once and the next section takes all the space. Oh! Damn it. And here I thought I was doing something cool. Maybe you just got confused because the viewport's vertical height is 100. Yeah, I guess I just did it perfectly. I actually know what you're talking about, and that would be cool. Let's just pretend I have it, okay? Shh, I have it. I mean, these count. The links at least do that when you click on them. But I would have to use more JavaScript to do what you want me to do. Which I guess I could do. The fact that I'm using 100% viewport height would make logical sense. Wait, it's CSS, really? Scroll snap, really? Help me. Let me do it now. What do you apply it to? Every day when I learn something, I'll come and update my portfolio. Yeah, I'm looking at the exact page now. Okay, so scroll snap type, why mandatory? So the container, what is my container? I think it is main. So we go to my main. Don't look at my messy CSS, please. And then for each child. What is my child? I think tell me they all share a same. Oh, they don't share a class. Class equal to snap. Should we just call it snap? Guess that's the easiest way that I can get around that. Either that. Oh wait, hold on. I don't need to do that. Since all of the classes, I'm already defined them over here to set their padding and height, I can just add that there. Scroll, snap, align, start. Problem solved. Done. What's insane? What's insane? Didn't seem to work. Am I missing something? Anyway, the most important thing is to get
doing what you enjoy. Absolutely. I don't really enjoy front-end creating websites. I love like back-end and making things work. So why didn't this work? They need to be in a container. They are in a container. They're all part of main. From what I remember, yeah, they're all part of main. They're in a section. And I've specified each class. And that class, I have specified home, about, projects, contact. They all have scroll, snap, align, start. Am I missing? Is there something more I need to do? Oh, here you go. Wait, no, it's not. At the time of this writing, Firefox, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. There's a repeat that you need to add as well. I don't feel like it's doing anything. Is it again one of those things that only works in Chrome? And then I need a polyfill. It is quite a novel, but it's interesting. It seems you've got the passion right there. That sounds like a lot of fun, like an ideal place to actually be working. You might end up becoming the CTO. As long as you don't end up like Kim LeBerry from Epic Games. Oh, he must have an absolute nightmare. A lot of people actually have done that, yeah, start as a dev and they work their ways up to project managers or team lead and all that. Okay, so which one of you have the skills with CSS again? Virani, you did front end, help me. What? I have no idea how it works. Asks me, is it scroll snap? Then sends me a link. Does Firefox even support it? Apparently it does. I just don't know if it's something that I can sort out or something. I don't think it's my width that's causing an issue. I just want to make sure. No, it's not. Scroll snap points. Scroll snap align start. I wonder if it's got to also do with the minimum height that I said. Because that'll be cool. You know what's funny? I'm checking out bits of code and they don't seem to snap to the next area. You can like get it to stop perfectly, but they don't like actually scroll to the next area, which is something completely different. I'm not going to waste any more time with this. Maybe look at that. Yeah, that's what I did, Christopher, and it's not what I thought. The expectation is you scroll down and then it does like an animation and then stops here, or you know, next section. It doesn't seem to do that, at least in the examples I'm checking. What they do is it's like there's points and you'll scroll, 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 and then you'll actually be able to get perfectly at the edge of this one. But I won't, you know. So let me just undo all these changes. Go. Get out of here. Wait, stay on page, save it, cool, done. What do we need to do now? Build JavaScript objects. Finally, some OOP. Objects are similar to arrays, except that instead of using indexes to access and modify their data, you access the data in objects through what are called properties. So I just want to make something clear. Well, I just want to verify. From what I remember, arrays are objects, right? Because when I try to check type of in the console, it returns object. From what I remember, let me just check again. Type of 1, 2, or whatever. Why is it loading all the previous stuff now? Precode Cam seriously has some messed up stuff here because it's continuously running in the background. Should only technically run when you hit run tests. It's like polluting up my console. 2 hours later. Okay, but seriously now, can I just do like clear? Can I just get my console back, please? Would really appreciate it. You can just stop. Okay, we will try this on another page. Don't know why I didn't do that earlier. So type of 1, 2 returns object. So an array is an object. At least that's how JavaScript sees it. JavaScript. Okay, in this example, all the properties are stored as strings, such as name, legs, and tails. However, you can also use numbers as properties. You can even omit the quotes for single word string properties as follows. Single word string properties. However, if your object has any non-string properties, JavaScript will automatically typecast them as strings. I'm confused now. So you don't have to add quotes to them, but it treats every property as a string. Is that what it's basically saying? I just want to make that clear. That's like the example in the Airbnb reference that you sent me, Varani. Saw it somewhere. Objects. Oh, that's a construct. Oh, that's the cons. Okay, that was
ES6, right? That's why you don't use var. That's why you're so confused why you still use var, because you use let and const. So const cat. What is const for? Like, is that like a constant? A constant, yes. Okay. Something that doesn't ever change. Thing which is declared once and won't change. Well, technically something may change. Be back in a little bit. Conference call. Cool. All the best, QQ noobs. It was really great having you drop by. Okay. If your object has... Can you guys help me understand where it specifies if your object has any non-string properties? Because it says you don't have to use quotes. You can emit the quotes for single word string properties. What do they mean by single word? Do they mean this part, the make, is single word, or do they mean the actual item, in this case Ford? So if I wanted to say, whoopsie, if I wanted to say make of, that would be incorrect, right? Would it have to be make, in quotes, make of? Is that what they mean by that? Okay. But if it's single word, instead of make like that, I could have make like that. Does it actually support the type? So if I add 5, like they did in their example, does it treat this as a number? Because it says, however, if your object has any non-string properties, JavaScript will automatically typecast them as strings. So that means you literally can't say number 5. Can you do that? It's going to typecast it as a string, right? So you can't actually store numbers. Well, no, but you can, because here they did a number. So what do they mean by that? That's what's confusing me, sorry. If your object has any non-string properties, JavaScript will automatically typecast them as strings. I don't get that part. Maybe it's just a little bit late, but I don't get that part. It typecasts the property name, not the value. Yeah, it makes the key of an object a string. Okay, okay, I get what you mean now. Thank you, that makes way more sense. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. Okay, make an object that represents a dog called my dog, which contains the properties name, a string, legs, tails, and friends. You can set these object properties to whatever values you want as long as name is a string. So name, right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, Virani. But if you wanted like 2 words where 1 is, you would have to encapsulate them in a quote. The other thing that is a bit confusing to me, normally when you just call something like this, you're calling a variable that's defined called name. Is it different when it's inside an object like this? Oh, is that why it typecasts it, right? So name, if I write it like this, it's actually going to look like this, right? Sorry to all the Vladislavs out there. So name, legs. How many legs? Vladislav had a bit of an accident at Chernobyl, so he actually has 5 legs. Tails. Has 2 tails. Don't even know why it's tails and not tail. Why would there be more than... and friends 0, because you know, forever alone. Poor Vladislav. Do you know Vladislav Virani? Press F for Vlad. Oh, God, yes. My best friend's name is Vladislav. Okay, you need to show this to Vladislav. Rip Vlad. Oh. Male dogs have 2 tails. Male dogs have 5 legs. Kappa, 4 heads. Okay, so I can write it like this, even though you want to put it in quotes. So this is the key value logic I was referring to earlier, right? Where that's the key, and that's the value. It is called key value, right? Or is it index key? I can't remember now. Oh, friends is an array. You have 0 array friends. Key value pairs. So this is the key. The whole thing, right? Or... no. Key is before. Okay, so that's the key. And then the values afterwards. Okay, the pairs you were just saying they're a pair. Right, okay, makes sense. Yeah. We got about 13 more minutes and I clearly need to go take a break because I have a gaming stream in 2 hours where Soma gets to freak me out and I finally get to relax and unwind from this week of chaos. It's been amazing though. So that should work for us. Sorry Vladislav. No hard feelings. Accessing object properties with dot notation. Yes! There are 2 ways to access the properties of an object. Dot notation and bracket notation. Similar to an array. Dot notation is what you use when you know the name of the property you're trying to access ahead of time. So like bob.name, I guess. Here's a sample of using dot notation to read an object's property. Prop 1 val 1. Prop 2 val 2. Okay. Var prop 1 val equal to my object dot prop 1. My object dot prop 2. Okay. So they're not explaining how you can do this, guys. If I wanted to access in this exact example, right? If I wanted to use bracket notation to get prop 1 value, prop 1, would I do my object 0? Is it 0 indexed as well? Would that work? Would my object 0 be val 1? Well, no, I don't think it would be, right? Because that's an entire thing. How do you get the value from the key? It's not an array. But they said you can use bracket notation. Oh, is it prop 1? Do I do my object prop 1, the name of the key, to get the value? Is that how you do it? If you have a key that is 0, it would work. Okay, if the name was 0, right. So, can you guys tell me, with your experience, when would you ever use bracket notation over dot notation? I mean, they gave us 2 for a reason, right? It just seems that dot notation is so much nicer to use. So when would you use bracket notation? When you don't know key name. Okay, so let's say prop 1 is the key name. How do I get prop 1 if I don't know what the key name is? What would you put in my object in the bracket? Oh, is that where you'd use X? And then you'd have a for loop to... No. Let me rather just hear the explanation before I try and figure it out. You can use variables to access properties. You do x equal to you can do x equal to prop 1 and then you can use my object x, but then why can't you just put prop 1 in? If you already knew that x is prop 1, why couldn't you just put prop 1 in? How does that work? Like, sorry, explain that to me. Kit sound. Kit sound. Is that the name of the kit? The kit is going meow. Object cat meow. Let dog. So var dog equal to cat. Okay. You guys said when you don't know what the value is, you don't know what the key name is, but then you just assign the key name to X. Sorry, so you lost me a bit there. What do you mean by that? If I know that X is prop 1, right? And then I go my object X, why couldn't I just freaking type prop 1 in my object? When a German and a Russian explain code to you. Good times. This is amazing. We're like all parts of the former war. We've got the USSR, we got Germany, and we got Africa. We're all on the same side. What if you need to compute that name first? Give me an example if you can. Sorry, because I would love to understand this, but my mind is not wrapping around it for some reason. What if you need to compute that name first?
Maybe you're getting it from some API, right? Wait, another way of looking at this. Are you guys telling me that I can't do it this way? Using dot notation, can I go myObject.x? Does that not work? Is that why I would have myObject.x in the brackets? Or can you do myObject.x? I'm guessing it can't because .x is not in there. Oh, I follow you guys now. Okay, so in the event somehow that you need the variable for the name, you would use bracket notation, because if you did dot notation, it will literally look for x in my object and not find it. Okay, that makes sense. Hearing that, thank you. Sorry. Whew. Read in the property values of test object. Using dot notation, set the variable hat value equal to the object's property hat. So test object dot hat, and the shirt value to be dot shirt. Yeah, won't work. Let object cat meow dog woof, let dog cat, let sound object dot dog. Let dog equal to cat. Right, so object dog is cat, so object cat will give you meow, whereas okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and the second time you refer to the property of cat, but dog is a variable which has the value cat. I get you. Don't know why you do it that way, but I get you in your example, yes. Thank you for that. Yay! How far are we from the end? Are you Khajiit now? It goes and searches for object.cat. Khajiit has the wares. If you have the gold. We are on accessing object properties with bracket. We are... I don't think I'll be able to have time to do this. So let me wrap up the last these are all objects. So I think I need to wrap up here, because then I can go back and do the objects again, because I feel I skipped through that, because that's going to be very important, because it is a prototyping language and objects are like the cool thing that's going to be so exciting, especially for me. So do that section, and then let's do the final one. Accessing object properties with bracket notation. So this is the other way now. We did dot notation. The second way to access the properties of an object is bracket notation. If the property of the object you are trying to access has a space in its name, you will need to use bracket notation. Oh, there's another reason. If the property of the object you are trying to access has a space in its name. Because you can't use dot. Oh. Objects are like one of the most important things. Null is an object, array is an object. Even functions is an object. No, why did I do that? Look at this. Type of length is a number. Type of this is an object. Type of toString is a function. So functions are functions. If you do a type of a function, it returns a function, not an object.
So null is an object, but functions are functions. They're not objects. Did I teach you something new? Function is a function, but somewhere behind the hood it is a special object. It's a good object. Okay. Ah, they're trying to get us here with some Star Trek analogy. They knew how to get me motivated for this. So let's say I had an object, an entree. If I did test object dot an entree, you can't do that, and you can't do this, can you? So there's another reason why you use bracket notation for if you had a space in your object name, which if you're just designing something by default, I'm assuming you just won't use spaces to avoid an issue like this. Okay, here's a sample of using bracket notation to read an object's property. Interesting. Note that property names with spaces in them must be in quotes, single or double. Okay, read the value properties of an entree and the drink of test object using bracket notation and assign them to the value, entree value and drink value. Test object, an entree. And drink value. The drink. There we go. Done! Cool, so I think we're going to leave this off for tomorrow's stream. And yeah, if you guys are interested in horror games and would love to come and join me in about 2 hours at exactly 7 PM, I'm going to be live over here. It would be amazing if you would stop by, even if just to say hello, because I definitely need a little break from the Matrix. And it's past midnight? Really? So you're not in Russia? Where exactly are you then? You are? Was it different? Because, oh right, you would be plus. That makes sense, yeah. The Far East, okay, so you're far on the other side of the equator. +9 GMT, okay, yeah, damn. That sucks. I think Christopher's is the only one that's like +2 GMT, give or take, so it should be around 5 for him. But yeah, thank you for dropping by, Varani. It was really exciting having you, and I appreciate all the comments and all the laughs in between, and especially the useful information that you said. I feel there's a lot in conjunction with this course, and especially thanks to Christopher's again, as always. You guys are incredible, and to all the new people that dropped by, all the new followers, it's really great to have you be a part of this journey. I'm excited to get past this and into the projects. I definitely see that there are some things that I'm lacking on, and it's going to be an adjustment to get into JavaScript, but I think it's going to be one that's well worth it. I also look forward to setting up VS Code, so thank you so much for that, guys. That is going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have an incredible evening further, I guess, for both of you. And Christopher's, have fun with gaming and relax a bit from coding? Yeah, absolutely, that's what I plan to do. And then come back full steam tomorrow and just completely get through the basic JavaScript section. Cool, yeah, so bye for now and see you guys in the next stream. Have a wonderful one.